I had an interesting experience years ago where I was playing guitar and I had played most of my life, and I had an idea about how how well I could play. And playing guitar, you take a solo, and I could play pretty quickly. I'd been playing for many years, but I thought there was an inherent speed limit for my physicality, for my body. I thought there was a limit, and certain guitarists that played much quicker than I did, uh, I felt like they definitely had the genetics. They had bigger hands. They had a certain dexterity that I didn't have, and no matter how hard I tried, it seemed like I could only get to a certain speed, and that was frustrating. But it was fine. I learned how to play within the constraints of my physical limitations, just like I imagine some athletes experience. And one day I was teaching a lesson, and I was soloing, and I was playing and playing, and I was kind of watching my hand as I played, and wasn't thinking too much, just really in the moment. And as I was watching my hand, I started playing quickly. And in fact, at a certain point, I started playing very quickly. And I remember just observing my hands speeding up well beyond anything that I ever thought my physical body would make possible. So I was sitting there and having this strange experience of observing this thing that I thought wouldn't be possible for me. And I was enjoying it for a while, and then the student left, and I was there. I was kind of in shock for a while, and I tested it a couple times just to make sure that this was something that really happened. And sure enough, uh, it had happened. And then over the weeks after that, I I learned how to play at that level, and at that level of speed, much beyond what I thought was possible for me. So that was a really cool experience because it was an example of reality shattering a belief that I had, and that I had held uh, to be truth about what was possible for me. And it was really cool because at times beliefs can become self-fulfilling prophecies. There is only a certain point that I would practice to, because I believed, well, my hand can't coordinate like that. I just don't have the physical hardware to support that. And then when this happened, all of a sudden I realized, wow, there's a whole realm that I can practice to that I didn't think was possible for me. And I just like that example because it was such an obvious experience for me. It sort of it snuck up on me. Um, and naturally, when that happens, I start to think, well, what else have I held as a belief about myself that may or may not be true? And so one of the things I took away from that experience is um, to take certain beliefs about myself, or certainly about my identity, and I hold them more as a maybe, as opposed to a definite. That this may be true about me, and let's see in the world. Let's find out what's possible. Um, and now, I have that as a reference experience, but there's so many that I can point to, places in my life where I thought, okay, I'm not good at this, or I'm not that type of a person. And over the years, seeing them change over time. Um, it's interesting to when I hear people say, I am an introvert, or I am an extrovert. And uh, I don't know if either of those are true. for myself, I think I end up somewhere in the middle on that continuum. What I do know is there were many circumstances when I was growing up where I wasn't comfortable in a certain social situation, for example. But over time, I learned to enjoy that. So whether I can say I am an introvert or I am an extrovert, um, I think I am both of those things in a certain respect. So I bring that up just as an example of something that many people hold to be true about themselves, but it's more that this is something, instead of thinking I am this, if you think this is something that I can experience, then it's not sort of a sentence about where you end up in life. Um, I definitely, one thing I recommend is take a little quiet time and journal beliefs about yourself, beliefs about your life. And this is something I've talked about before, but it's nice to notice, okay, what are these things that we feel so certain about? And are they serving you in your journey of where you want to go to? Um, and in the case of me playing guitar, I was fortunate enough that reality kind of stepped in and pointed out some new possibilities for me. I'll be talking more about beliefs in future talks, but I thought this example can be useful in terms of how a belief can shift. I also recommend jotting down examples from your life of things that you used to believe about yourself, and yet now they're quite different. All right, that is that.